What is up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a blog slider using Elementor on WordPress. Now, the slider that we're going to be creating is this one here. And we're also going to be creating this second one. And they're honestly pretty nice sliders for Elementor. So I honestly feel like you guys are going to really enjoy this video. And if you guys do find it helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a lot, especially when you guys like the video. It does end up suggesting this video to more people, and more people can find this helpful. Now, if you guys want to learn how to create these sliders, just go ahead and stick around. So let's begin. Now, the first thing that we need to do is download a plugin. So head over to your dashboard, go to plugins, and go ahead and click on add new. And go ahead and type in Prime Slider. And then go ahead and install the first one here. It's called Prime Slider. Install that. Then activate. I'm just going to skip this area here. Okay. So now that we have that active, we're going to go and head over to our home page. So I'm going to go to my pages. And then I'm going to go to my home page because that's where I'm going to be adding my blog slider. So I'm going to click on Edit with Elementor. Now, of course, you can just go to any page where you're going to add your blog slider. Go ahead and just type in slider. And there's two that we can use. There's a blog slider, and then there's a Flogia slider that we can use as well. And these are both blog sliders. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the first one here, which is just our blog slider. I'm going to drag it right into my section. Now, of course, I want my slider to be full width. It doesn't look the greatest right now. So go ahead and click on your section. Go into content width and change it to full width. And then we're going to just want to remove the gap. So go ahead and click on no gap. And now, if we click update, we can go ahead and view how this looks like. Now it's looking pretty good. Except I don't want this menu up above. I mean, if you didn't want a transparent menu, you can use this menu, and you can also use your branding as well and just add your logo. And you also have this bar here that you can use as well, this slide out menu. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So I'm going to go back to my settings here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on the slider. And you're going to find these options here. And the first thing that we're going to do is remove this logo, remove this menu. And then we're going to also remove the canvas here, which is just this hamburger icon. Okay, perfect. And then you can also have the scroll down option, but I'm going to go ahead and just remove it. But that's up to you if you wanted to have that there. And you also have your social links as well. I don't have any social links, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove my social icons. And I'm going to keep it very simple, just like this. And of course, off the bat, it's already grabbing my blogs. But let's say I wanted to have specific blogs on here, a specific category. Well, we can switch right to a query, and we can go ahead and choose a source. Now we can do manual selection, and then we can choose by category. We can do recipes, self-care, and we can just choose all of our categories, or we can just have one if we're trying to show just a specific category. But I'm going to go ahead and remove this for now. And I'm going to leave it at 3. That's going to be my limit for the amount of blogs to show, but you can have it at 4 or 5. I'm going to leave mine at 3. I think that's perfect. Now you can also adjust your order as well if you want to go by date, which is basically the most recent, or you can go by category. Totally up to you. Now we do have different layouts as well. So up here we have skin. We can go ahead and choose coral. This one's actually a pretty nice one. It does kind of show like a little preview of the blog. And then we can use this one as well. And this one's actually kind of nice as well. You have the preview of the blogs right at the bottom here. And you can kind of scroll to them. You can click on them. But it does have some other information as well, which you can remove. As you can tell, whenever you change up your skin, you'll notice that some of these settings adjust here. So if we're doing this one, we can go ahead and remove, you can remove this one. But I mean, you can also leave that there, up to you. But I'm gonna go ahead. You can also look at this one as well. This one's kind of nice as well. You can go ahead and remove our admin media as well if we didn't want to show that. But you can also remove the media as well, any of that stuff that we need to remove. But I honestly like the default slider, so that's the one that I'm gonna go with. And let's go ahead and just click update, and let's take a look at how that looks. Okay, so now this is looking a lot better. Now, if we were adjusting our header, if I did leave those header options up above, I could adjust those on here. But since I didn't add those, since I don't have those, I'm not really going to go through this option. But this is an option that you can go ahead and try out. And then we can go ahead and adjust our animations. We can have it loop. We can do an autoplay. Let's say we don't want an autoplay, then people can just scroll through the slider themselves. But I'm going to go ahead and leave that autoplay, and then we can have the autoplay what's it called, speed, which basically this is just to adjust when the slider's gonna go to the next log. So I'm gonna leave this at about, I mean, honestly, 700 milliseconds is fine. 7,000 milliseconds, sorry, it's fine. And then we can also have pause on hover as well. So whenever someone hovers over this, the slider won't move to the next log. But I'm gonna leave that at on. And then here's just the animation speed. This is basically how fast you want the animation to switch over. It's definitely different than the autoplay interval. So you can adjust that however you want. And this one's actually pretty cool. Ken Burns is a pretty cool animation. So it actually moves the picture. So it looks like it's coming towards you, and then you can also move it in reverse, just pretty much moving it back. That's a pretty cool option if you did want to have that on your slider. I'm not gonna have it on my slider. And then you can also have the show logo and animation and all that other stuff. That's completely optional. And then this is just what's on your button as well. You can go ahead and change this to whatever text you want to have on your button. I'm gonna leave it at read more. I think that's fine. And then I'm gonna go into style here. Now this is just for your header. Off canvas, you can adjust this for your header. I'm not going to go through this part here because like I said, it's only mainly for your header. I'm going to go through the sliders options here because I think this one is pretty important. Now this is your title width. So it's this main title here. We can adjust the width of it. We can make it, stretch it out, make it a lot shorter. I'm going to have it about this size. I think that's fine. And then we can adjust the typography as well. We can change out the font. If we wanted to, we can adjust the size of our header. But I'm going to leave it at that size. I think that's perfect. But you can adjust that to however you would like. You can also adjust the spacing on this as well. This will just space out your button. And then you can also have an overlay as well. Let's say you wanted to have an overlay of red or something. Of course, we would bring this down and make this a little bit transparent. But usually you would have this at black. So I'm just going to move this down to black. You can have it about, I think that's fine right here. Just so then the text is very visible. And then we have our subtitle as well. I don't have a subtitle on here, so we can't really adjust that, but it's the same option as title. And then we have our excerpt, which is just our description here. And we can go ahead and adjust the width on that part here. We can adjust the font size however you would want. And then we can have our spacing as well if we wanted to adjust the spacing on that. But I think the spacing is fine. And you can also have an overlay, which we did go over that here. And then we can have our button, which I feel like is really important. So I'm going to go ahead and change the button color just so then it kind of goes with my buttons that I have on my website. So my background color will be this one here. then I'm going to make it white. And I'm going to remove the border radius and have that at 2. So it kind of goes with my buttons here. And then I'm going to adjust the padding. And I'm just going to make that bigger until I have the right size that I want. Okay, that's perfect. I'm going to do about 20 here. And each side I'm going to do about 40. 40 on each side, right and left. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just remove this border that we have here whenever we hover over it. I'm going to go to solid and I'm going to set this to 0. Now we don't have that border there. And then let's see, whenever I hover over some of my buttons, I notice that it does turn orange. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that to the button as well. Here we have our hover effect. So our background color, we can adjust that and we can make it a little bit orange. There we go. I think that's fine. So that works perfectly there. I'm going to go ahead and click update. Okay, now that's looking really good. Now we have our navigation. Now this part is just our dots up above, our arrows, and this area here, which is a little progress bar. So we can go ahead and adjust our color for our arrows, which I'm just honestly going to leave that to white. That's how we can view it. You can also have a background color for your arrows as well. Let's say I wanted to make that, I wanted to change the color here, and I wanted to make it maybe a color that I've been using on my website. You can also do that as well. But I kind of like how it is, so I'm going to leave it as how it was. You can add a background image. You can add an image for your arrows, I believe. And then you can also adjust the dots up here as well. But I'm going to leave this as is for now. I think that's already looking great. And like I said, that's just the color that we would need there. But I'm going to leave it as is for now. I think that's fine. Okay, so all that's looking good now. I'm going to go ahead and just go over how to make this responsive. So you can just go to tablet. As you can tell right now, it looks very clunky. So we're going to have to go ahead and adjust some things. Now with this plugin, we do have some difficulties on here. And I'll kind of show you, but I think they're probably working on those bugs, but they are bugs right now. So anyway, I'm going to go back to my style here, and then I'm going to go to slider, and I'm going to adjust my title. I'm going to make my title a little bit smaller. And this is just my title width here, sorry. And then I'm going to make my text a little smaller here. And I can bring this back a bit, so it could be about this size. Maybe have it about that, that's fine. And then, as you can tell, this title is kind of in the way of our dots and even our arrows. We got to go ahead and adjust that. So I'm going to go to our description here, and then I'm going to adjust the width, make it a little bit longer, and then I got to adjust the sizing of this. Now, as you can tell, you could just do this and just have it all fit, and maybe even make the text a little smaller, or sorry, just bring it back a little bit. There we go. Now, you can do that, but let's be honest, the text is kind of small. I mean, not that many people go on tablet, but what we can do is just remove the dots, and then just go ahead and adjust our font here. At least we can make that a little bit bigger, and we can just bring it to the top, and then make our text a little bit bigger here. There we go. So we could do that. That's completely optional. Or you can just do what I did and just make the text smaller and try to fit everything in between. But I think this is looking great already for mobile. Sorry, for tablet. And then let's go ahead and adjust this for mobile. Now on mobile, I believe it's already looks really good. But we can still adjust, at least adjust a few things on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and adjust the width of this, because you might already have, maybe you have it like this and you want to adjust it. So go to your slider options on your style and then just move this over a bit, probably to about that size right here. And then we kind of want to adjust the spacing on this so then we can have everything fit, because you might have it like this, right? And you're like, oh, I can't see that progress bar up above. So you just want to bring this down to 0, and just go ahead and adjust your font size and make that a little smaller so then everything fits perfectly. There we go. Now that's all looking good. Okay. Now my slider here seems to be looking really good. Now there is a bug that I did want to go over, because you might have this issue here. So if you're wondering, well, you know what, this slider here, the height of it is way too long, and you want to go ahead and just make that shorter, you would think it'd be a simple option to adjust, and it's right here. This is option. Now it's currently not working for me. Now what this would do is just shrink your height of your slider, but for some reason there's a bug right now and it's not working. But it does work for their other slides. So I think they're going to be fixing this soon. If not, maybe it'll be fixed by the time you watch this video. But if you did want to adjust the height, it would be this option here. And if maybe the developers are watching this, yeah, there is a bug right there. Hopefully you guys fix that soon. So I'm going to go ahead and click update. And there we have it. Let me go ahead and check how mobile optimized this is. Now we might encounter some issues here, but it's not really that bad. So it still kind of works. So, and I'm sure you can adjust it for your screen as well. Maybe you would just make the font a little bit smaller, so then you don't have this issue here. Just make the font smaller, and then just move it more to the right, and just have a space here when you adjust that. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm basically telling you to do this. Let me show you. You just go to your style here, go to sliders on your title, and just move this over a bit. See? So you can just move that over, and then maybe make your font a little smaller, so then everything fits. So I just wanted to show you guys, just because I know that a lot of you guys have questions sometimes. You guys go through issues, and I'm just kind of running through scenarios that you guys may have, and really just trying to help you guys out there. So now we're going to go over and use the next slider. So just type in slider, and we're going to go ahead and use this one. Logia. I believe that's what it's called. If not, you guys can definitely correct me on that one. Okay, so we can go ahead and adjust the height here. Let's see if we can. So there's a little, like I mentioned earlier, there's a little bug on this one, so hopefully they fix that soon. But let's start adjusting this. So I personally don't like to show the author of this, but you can leave that if that's something that you wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead and try to remove the author here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to go with that's a nav here, and this there we go, the admin media. That's the part that we want to remove. You can also remove the thumbnails right under here as well. So that's just called the thumb nav, and we can remove that. But I kind of like those little thumbnails. I think they're pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. And we do have these little arrows that we can choose as well. And then we can also center the text. That's something that we wanted to do, and center the media, which would just be your description if you do add one there for your, if you do allow that for your blogs here. I actually do kind of like it in the center. I think that looks a lot better in my opinion. I'm going to have that in the center. And then query, we can go ahead and just choose our category like I showed you guys earlier. And then we have our limit to 7 blogs there. So I'm going to leave that as is. And here are just some other options that we went through earlier. I'm going to go to style again. And the options are very similar from last time. So here you can adjust the title width. You can move that around. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that as is. And I'm going to mess with the typography. And you can just go ahead and adjust that however you would want. I'm going to leave it about 50. I think 50 is fine. And then you can also adjust your category title as well. So this is your title up above, which is your category. You can adjust that. That's something that you wanted to do, but I'm going to leave that to default. I think that's fine by default. And then we can also add a background overlay. So we can make that dark and then make it more transparent so that you can view the image better. You can even do a blend as well. That's an option, but that's totally up to you. But I'm gonna leave it as my background here. All right. And we also have our content inner padding as well, if you wanted to adjust that. But I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that by default how that was. I think that was fine. And we can also adjust our featured posts, which I think are these at the bottom, I believe. But I'm not 100% sure. Yep, they are. Okay. So we're just gonna leave that transparent. But what I do want to work on is my font size here. And I think I'm gonna try to actually make it more visible because you can't really view the text too much. I might just remove the text on there. I'm gonna see if there's an option for that. But they do have a background overlay, so let me try to see if we can actually make that black here and make that more viewable. So you are able to do this if that's something that you wanted to do. Or I can even change it to my website color, right? I can do that as well. Oh, you know what? This overlay would be a lot better actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this one here, and then I'm gonna adjust this one. Oh, and this one would be the one selected. I see. So what we could do is, if that's the one that's selected, then you can just make that maybe a little more red, just so then you know that it's selected. Or I can choose my website color, and then I can just make that. I can just bring that down here. There we go. Those are that. You guys can also do that as well. I mean, if you guys did want to not even show the text, something that you could do as well is just go to your text color and just make that transparent. And that's how you can remove it. So, I mean, I think that looks a lot more cleaner, in my opinion. But that's totally up to you. Now, this one, they don't have any other skins on this one or any other themes for this slider. You can just leave those as is. You can go to navigation and start adjusting those, but these kind of let's see, I leave the dot color. I can change it to my website here. You know what? Nope, that definitely is not the one I want. It's supposed to be the active. Yeah, let's just leave that. Oh, there we go. The hover or active. Here we go. So this is the one that we want to adjust. There we go. And we can also have the hover as well. So if you didn't want to adjust those, but I think those are fine. I'm going to go ahead and click update. There we go. Now this one is easier to optimize, to be honest. On mobile, I feel like it's a lot more cleaner. So we can just go to our slider here, and we can adjust our text, make it a little bit more smaller. I think that's fine. Then we can go to mobile, and it just removes it because it's not really going to fit. So they just have it as this. You can remove these arrows, to be honest. I feel like I don't really need those arrows. So I'm going to see. I wonder if there was an option to just completely remove the arrows and leave the dots, but I don't think there is. They have them grouped together. So what I would do instead is maybe go to my navigation here, arrows, and just completely make that transparent. So you can do that as well. That's how I would remove it. I think that looks a lot better. And now it's completely mobile optimized. I would probably make the title here a little bit bigger. Probably about this size here. Be about 20. I think that's great. Now let's go ahead and just see how this looks here. And let's just start adjusting this and see how optimized this is. So, I mean, compared to the other slider that we worked on, this one does work a lot better. It is a lot more optimized. Sorry, it's a lot more responsive. But it's up to you what slider you would like to use. But I think it's pretty cool because I haven't seen a slider like this, at least for a blog, for Elementor. So I feel like you guys are really going to enjoy this one. Okay. And then let me just show you guys a different slider here really quick. just because I want to go ahead and show you guys that option where you are able to adjust the height of it. It's just on those blogs you weren't. I'm going to go ahead and just use a random one here. Let me go ahead and open up a new section here. I'm sure if you already got what you need, this is basically it for the video, but I just did want to show you guys this option here. Let me do, sorry, one section. Oops, kind of. I might have to refresh this. It's bugging out here, so. All right. I'm just going to move this down to the bottom and just leave it there for now. Okay, and then I'm going to open up one section here with one column, and then I'm going to go ahead and just add a slider here, and I'm going to show you guys how you can just adjust the height on any of these here. So I am actually going to have a video on these other slides as well. You guys will be able to see that, but anyway, so I'm going to click on the slider here, and then I'm going to go to layout, and right here, minimum height. So as you can tell, we are able to adjust these, but for some reason we can't do that with the blog sliders. But I'm sure they're going to be fixing that later on. It might already be fixed by the time you watch the video. Hopefully it is, so you guys don't have that that issue on your website. But that is basically it for this video. If you did find it helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel, especially when you like the video, just because it also helps YouTube suggest this video for more people, and it just overall helps the channel. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.